Okay. Another analysis, critique, but also sort of commentary, thought on Vikings and what do we see. Um, so I did watch Chris Hodges' History Buffs and his response to seasons 1 through 4, and yeah, it's like it's just kind of it deflates the show a little, just a little, and but I understand what Michael Hurst was doing, what he wanted to do with this show, um, because it's this compared to what History Channel's done before. Um, so, uh, it's it's definitely like he said. Okay, let's turn it up the Game of Thrones aspect of everything. Um, it is sort of the way he's taking it, and but Chris Hodges' take on Vikings is that they are real Vikings. Everything is legit. Everything their behavior, because we don't know anything. Everything is just hearsay. But here's what's going on. Here's what's happening. And the other reason why I feel like I had to make this video is that um, so Bjorn is the guy who goes to the Mediterranean with 63 ships and raids the whole coastline. Goes to Italy. And they think they raid Rome. And you don't have that. It's like, man, that's like yeah, like that'd be kind of neat to see. But I understand that for the show, limitations on budget. Like just what can you show? What's like what can you film? Like how many battles of these you got, and also to play up the nature of these people. Like to give an idea of like, well, who are these people? What's the lives they're going through? And if anything, because if we, so I need to know, like, is the show following more of the historical record of, or like is the historical presentation of the English and Franks? Is that historical? Is that accurate? And I'm kind of curious about is the presentation of the raid on the Muslim territory, is that accurate? Oh man, it's like there's so many places. Like see, and that's the other thing is that it's the appeal of Vikings is what's going on with these people and what are these people doing. I have this idea, this theory that the Vikings' understanding of psychology can be understood as similar to the way the Greeks were like looking at psychology and adrenaline. So when you get adrenaline, when fear, when something gets your blood, your heart racing, and you're just like you're hyper. You're like, oh, something's happening. For the Christians, it's fear. It's like the devil, is nearby. Like that, that's how the presence of the devil. Like as fear is, clawing through, because it's a rare feeling. You don't know what to do with it. For the Vikings, it's like the gods are speaking to me. The gods are filling me. They're breathing into me. They're filling me with spirit. They're filling me with energy, with power. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go out. Or I should say Vikings. I should say the Norsemen. So I apologize for that. So the Norsemen, it's they train with weapons. They if they can, but they're all these self-sufficient guys. They live in a egalitarian, we're equals kind of society, and it's sort of open and inviting. They're traders or like what's going on with these Vikings? That's the other thing is that it's a kind of strange. It's like just how they're viewing and doing things. So, but like so, are we to understand that? So when you're Viking, when you're raiding, that means that you've entered a different stance in life. When you see me, if you see me with weapon in hand, shield in hand, and I'm like Bjorn is just like, he's, you know, uh, hunched down, looking at you, staring you down, pacing back and forth. You have to kill me. It's you realize now, either you kill me or I'm going to kill you right now, or I'm going to do who knows what to you. But I am in a combat stance. I'm here to take from you. That's what's going on. That should be understood. I'm kind of curious because, and I think it was Chris Hodges kind of mentioned that it seemed to be potentially like a blood cult, or sort of. So the Vikings were raiding. They were doing things with each other because they're running out of land. They're pretty self sufficient. They're intelligent people. Like you and I. Just the circumstances of where they live. They're living in a place that's just limited. It's hard. It's just challenging, difficult. Like, what do I do? How can I survive? If you be a farmer, you're a farmer. Where's farmland? And that's where these local lords come into play because local strongman, the guy who has his guild hall, his mead hall, the place where his warriors come in and drink and eat, and that's where he sustains warriors. That's where that's why they can have raiding parties because all these guys are gonna show up and looking for work. We were ready to go raiding. We're ready to put our lives on the line, but to get paid in return. And it's just understood that this arrangement. And so you're the raiding leader, you're the raiding party, a group leading. And that's what's going on with Ragnar's sons. So it's just the dynamics, the conversations, the ideas of. Okay, I'm trying to understand who are these guys coming to serve and fight in these armies? Because the Great Heathen Army is understood. They have a purpose, they have a reason for being there. They're motivated for two things. One is the slaughter of their people and revenge for the king. Great. That's what's going to get a lot of people, a lot of the Vikings, motivated to go and do stuff. The relationship with King Ethelred, is that real? Oh man. But and what's going to go on with that kid, Alfred? But at the same time, I can see for Alfred. I don't know. I'm stuck at this episode right now because I don't know what's happening after he's crowned king. Because to me, then it's all right. Well, the older son was trained for war. The younger son was trained for politics. For the court. And that's what Alfred's going to need. He's going to need to unify the people because they're divided. It's petty fiefdoms. Everybody has their own kingdom, and kind of allegiances can swap around. And that's why the Vikings were brought in as mercenaries. Because oh yeah, we need some fighting men here and there. Mercenaries were so common back then. So that's the other aspect of society that has to be understood. Mercenaries, just get a group of guys to get together who can fight, and that's you get a bunch of mercenaries together as an army to go invade to fight your enemies. So with Ivar the Boneless, so that's the other thing is so we don't know anything other than we see, and as History Channel and Chris Hodges points out, what do we see? We see an older, probably tubby Viking dude on a shield being carried by some other Vikings. So why? Why would they do that? Why would they carry a guy like that? And in that depiction, he's not laying on the shield, to he's going to get knocked off. No, he's leading. He's controlling his guys. So and he's Ragnar's son. Ragnar being is a brilliant, great guy. If he's legendary, but we have no real idea. What did this guy do? But his legend is so good that is going to carry on to the sons. It's like, the sons have to be equally as amazing, and we have no idea how, like, other than Oslog is, she's probably pretty well put together, but then what? And in terms of like messes with a stranger, or has sex with a stranger. See, and that's the other thing. These strangers, these travelers, these guys who just, I've been to this place and I speak languages. It's amazing. It's interesting. It's like, and potentially like many of them are homosexual. Like, yeah, I can see it. Yeah. Oh man. Then the other thing is, so my other sort of take on the show is the portrayal and concepts of religion. Yeah, so the raid on the Muslim community, so would that have been on a Friday prayers? And that's why they wouldn't stop praying, when they knew this raid was going on. The market had been, attacked. People were like, hey, these guys are here killing us. And they just continue. Like, that's just, I just, man. Like, or it's like, it's just understood, like, well, look, we're at peace, nobody's going to attack us. And then these guys show up, like, oh, well, I guess we'll just, go and pray. But I guess I would assume then it's like, well, they're in the middle of prayers. And it's just understood that formal declarations of war would occur. If we're not at war with anybody, nobody's going to attack or raid us. Right? And because the Muslims would have kept good records of what had happened, what had occurred. Oh, man. It's such a good show, but it's like, some of the historical stuff, like, I kind of wonder. And then the fact that Loki's the third guy to get to Iceland. So, and there, what about the, oh man, what am I forgetting? The Shetland Islands, for one thing. And then there's another group of islands between Iceland and Scotland, and even like the Shetland Islands. Oh man, it's got Norwegian people settled there now. It's funny because like Whale Wars, like they even had a season there. It'll come to you in a moment, but yeah, it's like that progression, like so. It's okay. So I appreciate what Vikings is doing. I like this idea of so the storyline of Bjorn and his brother, they pull off the Ragnar, like, oh well, baptize me and then take me to your church and then I'm gonna open the doors. Like, yeah, that crazy story, like that was Bjorn. It's like, oh wow, okay. But like southern France and then the brother is like, okay. I can understand, like, okay, the sets are limited. Like, what can we do? What's available to us in terms of what's happening historically, and yeah, and how do you? Because like Lagertha, she can't be that old, like, or she can't be that young, or that young looking. Like, she's gonna be an old woman by this point. That's so, oh man. But I'm glad she still looks young and vibrant, like amazing for like grandmother. Hey, Bishop Heyman. And the storyline Bishop Heyman. What? Oh my! Wow! Like, okay. Anyways. Yeah. So Bishop Heyman, he's gonna embed himself and he's gonna start getting people comfortable with the idea of becoming Christian. Because like we had no idea how they start becoming Christian, other than like right at this time it starts. Oh man. But okay, so Ivar the Boneless. If history is to, History Channel is say, okay, here is a more like that show the Vikings did, like, but we'll put in some more, we'll get some better actors and do some better setups and this and that, and even we'll get the actors from the show Vikings. We'll get them recast those actors in those different roles. Like, yeah, this is what these guys said at this time. We know for sure. Like, this is what we know for sure happened to this and that event. But for Ivar the Boneless, I would see it as like his storyline is he fought a lot. He was one of Ragnar's sons. Like whenever we get his first appearance, like who knows, or whatever story legends we get. But if an idea of him being boneless, I would go with the two things. And one is he's impotent and he's notorious, like maybe even injured, and so he's like, yeah, I have nothing left. And even better if he lost his unit, his member, his penis, genitalia, who knows, whatever, lost it in battle, right, and survived, and so but he continues to live on, and he's just like he's still a badass, leader and fighter. It's like, well, fine, I'll just drink and have fun and lead my men. My men love me. They love what I'm doing. They love how I take them to the victory and give them great rewards. Yeah. And so he would continue to fight, be called Ivar the Boneless, and then get injured again, and maybe that time his spinal column, so he can't walk anymore. But from the waist up, he can still operate. Or maybe he's just so injured that he can't really move around as well. And he's like, well, I'm just handicapped. There's no way I can move as fast as the rest of my men. And he hobbles. He can barely move. He's still this great guy, great leader. His men love him. So they carry him because they love him. They care about him. They realize, your disability. We're not gonna let it slow us down. If we can't, if we need you to move, and we need you to see and be able to do what you need to be able to do, we'll carry you. We'll carry you on our shield, and we'll be proud to do it. Like, right? Because the Vikings, they're proud people. They're not going to submit themselves. They're not going to. That's why they're not going to tolerate having handicapped people to take care of, because it's undignified to have to live life needing somebody to take care of you, to support you. It's just not considered. And men are going to feel that way. Women are going to feel that way. And the women are going to realize we're all equals, but we have to really fight for our equality, for our rights here. And the men will accept that. Or most all men will accept that. So that's, yeah. But Ivar the Boneless. So yeah, that's what I think would be a way to portray him. Is a dude who, he was this really great, ruthless dude, led the Great Heathen Army, and he knew he could do it. He got everybody together, did whatever backstory he can create, and then you see this guy being carried on a shield by the Viking warriors in the battle, and why would they do it as well? Because it's the saga. It's the saga that's told, the story that's told. That's what you want. You want to live this life that people can this is what I did. This is where I was. Because as a fighter, there's this the story you learn and the story you participate in, because you follow you swear your sword, your weapon, your fighting. You will give. You will fight for a guy in exchange for greatness, for wealth, for take care of me, feed me. If you look after me, I'll fight for you. I'll treat you as my leader. I'll look up to you. I'll follow your advice. But if I think whatever, I'll challenge you. And that's why these guys can catcall people on boats. But at the same time, you got to be careful, because if you take it too far, you'll get leader will kill you. But that's you don't want that, because if leader kills you, everybody else is like, wait a minute, and they're kind of starting to question your leadership, because ideally you should not, you should have answers to questions. That's a good leader. So that's being aware. So that's anyways. God, I love the show. The show's so good. I just love what they're doing with it. They're dicks, right? Vikings are dicks. It's. So, are we to understand it that we're part of this equality society? Here's our local leader. I want to establish my saga, my legacy. Like I'm going to be known for great things, for doing things. So I'm going to lead men off in the battle, and I'm going to follow this leader, this king, this earl, this king, whoever off in the battle, or the ship's captain. This raiding, ship's captain off in the battle, Linda's farm. So, and going there, it's part of my spiritual understanding of the world. Vikings and the Christians, everybody has this spiritual understanding of this is how the world is, this is what the world is made of. It's my relationship to the gods, to God. I need to do what I need to achieve that. So for the Vikings, it's like, all right, it's all around you. You're living it every day. You take mushrooms, to enhance that. Lick the palm of the seer, yeah, I understand. But for the Christians, it's like it's prayer, it's repetition, and then for the Muslims, it's got to be a prayer, and these guys come in with weapons and kill the imam, and then the surrogate steps forward. Just anyways, God, such a good show though. So yeah. All right. Sorry for rambling and boring you guys.